Welcome to the Crosstown 9. Chris and John here to give you the mid-season review for the New York Yankees. The season ended today. Today of recording, I should say. By the time you're listening, will have been yesterday. I should have said that in the first place. So now we're going to the All-Star break. We get to see Ben Rice hit some home runs. We get to see him in the All-Star game. He's going to be the only one we're going to see in the All-Star game. Nobody else is going to play, I don't think. Bellinger's in, but he's not playing, right? Something like that. I know
Schiller's not pitching.
No. Yeah, so maybe we'll see two. See a couple of Yankees, but what a first half it's been. There's been some high highs. There's been some low lows, including what we're coming out of to go into the All-Star break.
Hey, we just swept the Nationals. We're okay. We're on the come up.
They did sweep the Nationals. Some clutch hitting against the Nationals. Bullpen looked pretty good against the Nationals, all the things, but at the end of the day, it's the Nationals. So that is what it is. But we're going to give out some awards. We're going to give a little recap of the season. And we're going to have some fun. So I can't wait to start. Remember to follow us, Crosstown 9 Podcast, wherever you get your social media, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, X/Twitter, Facebook. Go to youtube.com and go ahead and subscribe to us on youtube.com as well. youtube.com. I said that 3 times because it sounds silly. But subscribe to us on YouTube as well, Crosstown 9 Podcast. You can see clips there. You can also see full episodes. And if we go live, that's where we're going to go live. So we haven't in a while gone live, that is. Maybe we'll do that more in the second half. I think we only did it once in the entire first half of the season, go live.
I think it was opening. It wasn't opening day weekend, but I think it was one of the opening series.
It was one of the opening series. Yeah. It was one of the opening series for sure. But maybe we'll go live more. That's what we're going to do. There and on TikTok would be the 2 places to see us go live. So definitely check that out as well. So I told you pre-show that I wanted to show you something because it's been coming across my timeline. And I know you would understand it. So you know Bill Simmons, right? The Bill Simmons podcast. All right, so this guy has the Bull Simmons podcast. It doesn't have a lot of followers, and they don't have a ton of views. But I mean, I don't even watch them. They come across every single day.
Quacklow.
It's funny how close they get to the actual podcast. So I'll just click this one because it has a lot.
Welcome to an Emergency Bill Simmons podcast to talk about this disaster Jaylen Brown trade with Ryan Gusillo. I don't know who's drunker, the Celtics or Joe House.
I'm honestly more scared of the Jaylen Brown trades we didn't see.
What would this trade be in NFL terms?
This would be like if the Pats traded 2004 Brady for 2025 Aaron Rodgers and a kicker.
I was afraid you'd say that. I just don't get it. Why did the Bucs need Hugo Gonzalez? Why does everyone want our precious Hugo? Now we're stuck with geriatric Paul George.
Paul George is like that chick that looks really hot when you're hammered, but then you sleep with her and you realize it's your cousin.
Did you do that?
No.
Let's talk about the new Lakers, or as I'm calling them, Salt Laker City. If you look too closely at this starting lineup, you'll burn your eyes.
Looking at this Lakers lineup is like when you see your cousin and you notice she's pregnant and you're just praying it's not yours.
What?
Nothing. I said the Lakers look like a team of guys who plays the game the right way.
All right, we'll be back to talk about this John Morant to Portland trade. I think he's going to join us.
I kind of want to do one more. Can we do one more? Because that's pretty good.
Players that play the right way is hilarious.
Let's do. You want to do this Giannis trade one? It's got the most views, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to the Bill Simmons podcast. Today on the show, we have Ryan Gusillo to talk about the Giannis trade.
Thanks for having me.
Ryan, what were the Bucs thinking? I just don't get why they wouldn't trade him to the Celtics.
Giannis is like the hot chick who waits too long to get married and ends up with a fat guy when she could have had a big, strong hunk like the Celtics.
There's no way we were giving up Baylor Shireman or Hugo Gonzalez or an unprotected second-round pick.
Look, Jordan Walsh is untouchable.
Jaylen Brown is better than Giannis. Hell, he's probably the best player in the league.
Jaylen Brown is like the hot chick who's great in bed, but is actually nuts.
If the Bucs hadn't been so greedy, we could have had it all. Whatever. Now the zombie heat are going to stink.
I think we build around Peyton Pritchard and maybe see if Drake May can play center.
I wonder if we can get Nikola Jokic for Jaylen Brown. All right, thanks, Ryan Gusillo. We will be back next week with the Rewatch of Bulls. We're watching the town 5 times in a row. Cantina. Well,
so this has been coming across. I knew you'd appreciate it because I'm sure you've listened at least once to the Bill Simmons podcast. Yeah. The Ryan Russillo character makes me laugh because that's literally how when he had his podcast on the Ringer. I haven't really listened to it anymore. I didn't really listen to it then, but that was like his comparison was always something like that. That's the Bull Simmons podcast on TikTok.
That's hilarious.
It's growing. Go check it out. It's so goddamn funny. It's so goddamn funny. Definitely check
It's
that
like a
out.
group of players that play basketball the right way. That's ridiculous.
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh my god.
Anyway, that's not that's not what we're here for. We are here
Oh,
for Yankees. So we're gonna go over some quick hits. We're gonna then give out some awards, do some last minute questions, and then call it a day. Again, Bull Simmons podcast, hilarious. Go check that out if you are on TikTok because it's really, really good. All right, so to open it up, I'm gonna offer you a question. How do you feel about the Yankees right now compared to opening day?
so when we were first planning this, I was like, this team is annoying. They stink. They're frustrating. But then they sweep the Nationals. I'm like, okay, let's pull out a little bit and just try not to think of it so like recency bias. And I think they're fine. Like I think the thing is they're missing so many players, like so many of their top players between Fried, Judge, Stanton, and they've lost players throughout the beginning of the season. That it's like, okay, they've been super streaky. That's baseball. They're, I think, 4 games back of the Rays, which you got to think they'll plateau at some point, and the Yankees will kind of, as they get players back, will continue to ascend. So I think they're tremendously streaky, like they've always been in these months of in the summer. But I think they have some good pieces. I think they'll get players back. I hope Cashman doesn't use the classic Judge is back. It's a great trade acquisition like he does every year. And I hope he does make some trades that the team needs. And then I think they'll be good. But I think they've been fine. They've been streaky like they always are. But I think they've been fine.
Yeah, they've had the high highs and the low of lows. They've been in first place by multiple games and then have fallen into second place by multiple games, which is where they currently stand. They're still right on the Rays trail, but it came at a bad time, the losing streak that is, because the Rays were on fire during that time. So that it was like a 14-game swing in 7 games. Like they won 7 straight when the Yankees lost 7 straight, which completely flipped the AL East on its head. So yeah, from opening day, it doesn't feel as good. Like you said, take a step back. You know, there's still a whole half of a season. They're all going to, a lot of players are going to come back, blah, blah, blah. But from opening day, it does feel a little, I'll say down on it because of all the injuries, right? Like Fried, Judge, Stanton. I mean, Stanton, you could have guessed that one a mile
He's
away.
guaranteed, yeah.
Yeah, that one's guaranteed. But like the top players on the team were out for a significant amount of time. Even Jazz missed some time.
Grisham was injured too.
Grisham was injured for a little bit there. So, that's where I see. So it's like not sad, but like kind of a bummer we didn't get to see the whole as good as they are. But grateful that we're in a spot where like we can still end up with the number 1 seed at the end of the season. So Yankees not in a terrible spot, but ups and downs, hot and cold. And now we're here at the All-Star break. So let's go through some quick hitters. First, we'll do big storyline of the first half, and I think we can both agree on this first. Injuries. We were just talking about it. Judge goes down, Stanton goes down, Fried goes down, Rodon goes down, Cole goes up and down. He's injured. He's not injured. Jazz was hurt for a little bit. Grisham's hurt for a little bit. This is kind of the story of every year. Like this is how Gio Urshela got a job, right? All those years ago, because guys were constantly going in the lineup, out of the lineup, in the lineup, out of the lineup. And back, I think I said the last podcast, the worst thing that could happen as a coach is to have your player hit a home run on the first at bat that has a bad swing, because then they're never going to be like, well, my swing's not that bad. I just hit a home run. We were talking about the 2017 team when that happened, where a lot of guys would get hurt, but it was next man up, and they had a lot of depth, and they had a lot of guys really step up. And now here we are almost 10 years later trying to do the same thing, but it just doesn't work the same. That's what's happening here. There's not a next man up because the next man up is just not even close to as good as the one that they're replacing. Next man up is easy when Judge is hitting 52 home runs.
Yeah. And I think even I think those is getting to a point like with the outfield, you had obviously Judge out, Grisham out, and then you had like Dominguez get hurt. So then you have Jones come up. So now you're getting all these guys tested in situations that maybe weren't ideal for them. And you have someone now like Max Schumann getting time in the infield. You have Rosario and Caballero having time in the outfield as they move things around. So like they're doing the Yankees thing where players are sometimes playing out of position or not their best position.
Yeah.
And you have like the weird fits going on that's leading to like very inconsistent defense. So I think that's where you run into the depth as well, where like the injuries are forcing players to play in different positions and it's maybe not their strength. So it costs them some games or costs some what would be easy games or more fights. So the depth is just kind of different than what it's been in the past, where like your fourth and fifth outfielder aren't coming in and just raking for a week. And even I think they were the first like 7, 10 games after the Judge injury. And then everyone just kind of regressed to the meat and then things kind of looked a little rocky.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest problem though, is relying on people to like these guys to step up all the time when you have guys we've talked about like the Ryan McMahon, instead of going out and getting like a top of the line guy, we're going out and getting a guy that should fit. And when you get a guy that is the replacement guy, right?
Yeah.
Like that is the guy that should be replacing at third base, not the one that should be starting at third base. So when you have that kind of guy starting, that replacement player stuff just doesn't work as well. And that's why you see a 7-game losing streak, because when Rice stops hitting and Goldschmidt stops hitting and no one else can hit in the first place, Jazz is on and off with hitting. That's when you see these big slumps and stuff like that. And it's
Well,
going to
when
go
you're
into
depending,
who I think the MVP is when we get into the awards.
yeah, and when you're depending on Paul Goldschmidt to
Yeah.
be a middle of the lineup bat and help you carry the offense, like it's not quite what he should be doing at this point of his career.
No, he should just be spot start, good bat off the bench. He's almost 40, or he is 40. Like, we can't be continuing to do that as we go. So, best stretch, I'm going to go with what you have down here because I agree. The 7-game win streak in April, sweeping the Royals, sweeping the Sox, taking 2 or 3 from the Stros. But it's complemented with a 7-game losing streak to take out the end here, which is probably the lowest point. The entire month of June is probably the lowest point. But when is it not with the Yankees? It's always that midseason slump they seem to hit when there's injuries, when there's guys just not performing well. This is kind of the spot they're always in around June.
Yeah, I mean, like you got swept in a 4-game series against the Red Sox. It stunk, and then you're like splitting series. You lost the series to the Twins for the first time in like ever.
I think it
So
actually was
like,
since like 2014 or something like that at home.
I think it was like a solid decade or something that they hadn't lost, and that's like a situation like that to the Twins. So yeah, they were just dropping bad series and like playing bad baseball, which is like you can forgive losses, right, if they're competing and doing things right, but when the defense was as bad as it was, when they were striking out a ton, like I think was it last week they had back-to-back games with like 13, 14 strikeouts each, and it's just like, oh,
17 strikeouts in 2 straight games. 17 in 2 straight games against the Rays.
Yeah, so when you're doing that, it's just when it looks that bad, you're just scratching your head is like, how is it that everyone is slumping this bad?
It's just so crazy because like I keep going back to like 17 through 19, but there was a game somewhere in there where they struck out 21 times. The reason I keep going back is because it's almost 10 years ago. We're talking about the same thing at the same time, that the Yankees are striking out too much, they're not hitting the ball enough. There's guys that are supposed to be replacing these guys. They have guys playing out of position. It's literally been the same thing for so freaking long. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's why. And it's funny because one of the next things is like one word to describe the first half. Mine was like repeat. I'm like, it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
You can copy and paste every first half.
Copy paste. That's what I was going to say.
Bad June
Copy
because players are striking out. Bad defense. People are playing not their best position. And it's like the same thing. Like copy and paste your struggles in middle of the summer.
The Yankees won the last game before the break, but they almost lost because Jazz just completely overthrew first base on an easy routine ball. He threw it into the dugout, And the Nats took a 3-2 lead, and then Ben Rice came up and untied the game with a triple. But, like, it was very close to them losing because of bad defense and guys playing out of position. Or guys, listen, Volpe, I think the Volpe experiment might be over. Like, I think it might be done.
No, but like I think I talk about it later in one of the questions. Like you don't know, and that's the problem. Like for any other organization that's competing, if a player is not playing well and they have options, they send them down, tell them to figure it out, or they move on and they find another player. And you saw that's what they had with Caballero. And even in the beginning of the season, they were talking about how he's our starting shortstop. And then they immediately went into a platoon. And now Volpe is pretty much their starting shortstop. And it's like he had stretches of being okay, but overall, he's costing them more than he is anything else. Like, I think there was a stat that like there were 11 straight starts with him at shortstop they lost,
Yeah.
and all the games that he didn't, where Caballero started, they won.
Well,
And it's like you have stats like that for a team that's quote unquote super analytical, and they're just like, no, those numbers don't mean anything.
I
So it's just
promise
like,
you, I did not say Caballero should be the starting shortstop. I said if he is your starting shortstop, that's a problem. And it has been. And it has been. So here we are. It has been a problem. You gave them a B for the first half. A B for the first half. I give the performance a B, the front office a C, because there hasn't been anything even remotely talked about being done to fix things. They're running guys out for half a season. The catchers they've run out for half a season have been terrible, which we'll get into that later.
yeah.
We'll get into that later. So are the Yankees better or worse, or exactly where you thought they would be at the halfway point?
I think they're probably. I lean towards worse than I thought they'd be, but it's also because it hurt. Like I
Yeah.
think this team would look completely different if Judge was healthy.
Yeah, I
Like, I
can
think this
agree with
team would
that.
be completely different if he was out. Like Stanton being hurt is like par for the course. He's like guaranteed to miss half the season.
Guaranteed
Like
out.
you just. I think you don't start counting his injury games until half the games are gone, and then you're like, okay, now it's a concern. I think it just is what it is. But Judge being hurt, like he's the best player in baseball, one of the best players of our generation, and he's out, and he's the anchor of your offense. And I think you were betting on him to help buoy Ben Rice when he starts slumping like he did. So when he's not there, and now you're putting all this pressure on Rice and on Bellinger to carry the offense. Obviously, that's not going to last all season. So I think you look where they're at. I think with fully healthy Fried, fully healthy Judge, I think this team would look a lot better. So I think they're probably worse than what I expected, but not like if they're still a good team. Like
Yeah.
they're like a lock for the first wild card if they don't win the division. I think they're going to walk into the playoffs, and then I think you're going to reach a point in the season where they're just kind of saving Camp Schlittler until playoffs, and then we're going to just get after it. So.
We
I think right now they're worse, but not that much.
we complain a lot about how they're bad or they're doing terrible, all this stuff. They're not the Royals, they're not the Tigers, they're not the Twins, they're not these teams that were supposed to be playoff teams that are significantly under 500. So that's a good thing.
They're not that at all.
They're not that at all. Let's get into the midseason awards. You have two. I will say the batter because we have the other, we'll have the pitching awards as well. So let's start there because I have a different one than either of these actually. We'll start with you. The most valuable Yankee, MVY, which sounds awful. Just say MVPY, MVP of the Yankees. Who do you got?
Ben Rice. I think he's been. I think we had this back and forth. I don't remember if it was while we were recording this one or like just before recording about which one of us had the debate on how good he was going to be this year. I think you were a little higher on him than I was, but mostly because like I was like, can he do it for a full season? But through this first half, man, he's been just absolutely incredible. Like one of the best one of the best first basemen in baseball, one of the best bats in baseball. Like even with the slumps, his numbers are ridiculous. He's an all-star. I think if he continues on this trajectory, I think there'll be conversations about MVP. So I think he's just been incredible for the team. And obviously, like we just talked about with Judge out, he's anchored that offense when they needed it.
29 home runs to end the first half. I'm going to go a little left of everything else. I'm going to say the MVP is Aaron Judge because the Yankees were in first place when he was playing and then fell apart when he got hurt. Yeah. So I'm going to go with that classic should Peyton Manning be MVP when he's not playing. I'm going to go with Aaron Judge because he is the best player on the team. They were the best team in maybe all of baseball when he was playing. He gets hurt. He's out of the lineup. Rice starts to struggle. Goldschmidt starts to struggle. Rice ended a little better at the end there, but he was struggling heavily with Judge out. He's an anchor in the lineup. He helps the batters around him as well. And I'm going to just go with Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, MVP for the first half, because when he was there, he was electric. He was one of the best hitters in baseball. And when he was out, the Yankees stunk, which is exactly what value is.
Yeah, and I think the only reason why no one is super low on the Yankees being the best team in the AL and still a World Series team is because of Judge. Is because they know you're getting one of the best players in baseball to come back into that lineup and boost. Like, he's a force multiplier where as soon as he's there, everyone else picks it up a notch. So I wouldn't be surprised if once he slides back into the lineup, everyone else ticks up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Except the catchers.
So we're going to go to the least valuable Yankee, and I'm just going to take this one because you have Wells. I have all of the catchers. I think the entire catching as a group. So I think Wells was behind the plate today. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wells behind the plate today. And the Nationals have the guy that leads the league in stolen bases. And Wells went to throw down to second and made maybe one of the worst throws I've ever seen in my life. I've seen bad ones. I've sailed into center field, but I mean, I'm a former catcher, so just seeing the mechanics and seeing the throw were disgusting. It was awful pop, awful throw. Immediately he knew it. He knew it was going to be off. He threw it way off to the side. They had a shot at getting him. The pitch came in right. He got the throw off in time, but the throw was just nowhere near. I say this because his bat has been pathetic. So if he's also not throwing people out, that's not good. But it's not just him. The entire catching core has been bad. And who's the other one? The Ali Sanchez is also back there, and he hasn't been good. So we have three catchers that just are not good back there. So I don't even think it's a question. You can say shortstop because shortstop's been a mess. You can say third base, but McMahon's been okay. McMahon's been fine at third base. But the one thing you can't say is that there's been a catcher that's been fine or okay, or like there's an answer there. Unfortunately, there is an answer at shortstop. We just don't like it. Like there is no answer at catcher right now. And Wells hit a home run against Tampa, and they're like, oh, he needed that one. Proceeds to strike out the next three at bats. Like, it didn't help him whatsoever.
Yeah, it's been rough. Like, I think it's been easily the worst position group in baseball. Like, I don't think anyone's worse. Like, they are just horrendous at bats. Defense has been meh. And it's just like, the only reason that it's not such an obvious fix that they just go trade for someone is like, it's so hard to just plug in a catcher right away. But dude, like, anyone is better than what they're rolling out there. It's so bad. It's guaranteed outs and guaranteed bad at bats.
The way that the defense has been played by the catching core, you may as well just go get someone that you know has a good bat, like that can hit the ball, and then deal with the bad defense until they get it together. Because right now you're getting bad defense mixed together. And if you remember when Austin Wells was coming up, the big thing about him was the framing, and with the challenges, like, framing's not going to become as important. I have a feeling after this 5-year strike that comes, you're going to see more challenges per team, because 2 challenges is not enough. Teams are scared to do it, and it's really good for baseball. I love the challenge system. I love when they get it wrong. I love when they get it right. Let's just get the calls right. Like, yeah, I get it. You can't have them challenge every single ball and strike. That'd be preposterous. But like two is just not enough, and I think 3 or 4 is going to be the happy medium we're going to end up seeing.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think you probably see 3. I think they'll probably do something similar too, where it's like, or do they have it now where if you get the 2 right, you keep challenging? Is that how it is
Yeah,
now?
yeah. As long as you get it right, you can continue
Yeah.
the challenge.
And then I wonder
Until
if
you
they
get them
do
wrong.
something like the NFL or NBA where it's like the last, I think we've talked about it before, the last inning, the last 2 innings, where it's like you don't even challenge. This is automatic review, close
It should
calls
be
or
the last
whatever.
inning, ninth
You
inning,
know, where it's like
automatic review.
automatically reviewed anyway. So
Yeah,
that
I
you
mean
avoid
that's
those
tough too
situations.
because like you have to have someone sitting there saying, "Oh, that was a ball." It's like actually it was overturned in New York. It's a ball. Some umpires would have a rough time if that's
For
how
sure.
it was.
For
But
sure.
also games at the end. The one thing you got to think about is like the NBA. Now everything in the last 2 minutes is reviewed automatically. And how long are the last 2 minutes of an NBA game? Oh
Yeah.
my God, they take forever. They're one of the
But
worst
I think
parts of
it'd
an
be,
NBA game.
but I think it'd be like, I think it'd make it fun in MLB because as long as it's not I think what'll happen is that they'll make those pitches all reviewable, but then they'll make everything reviewable, where everything that happens in the field is reviewable, all
That
the
would be
close
smart.
plays will all be reviewable, and then with that, I think now you're kind of leaning towards things taking a little longer. But if it's just the last inning, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah. I don't know about the balls and strikes, but definitely everything else should be reviewable
All the
automatically
plays, I agree. I agree
end
with
of the
that.
game,
Yeah.
just like any other sport. Like
Yeah.
especially at that point, that is the most important point of the game. Get it right.
Yeah.
Get it right. Did you see when I think it was Ben Rice hit a home run and the broadcast just couldn't understand that it went over the wall against the
Yeah.
Rays? It was so funny. I saw it immediately. I was like, yeah, it hit the floor, hit the chair, and came back in. And it took them like a full inning to be like, all right, we saw the replay, and I guess it went over. And I was like, yeah, everyone, the umpire saw it too. Everyone saw it from the very beginning. I don't
Yeah, because
know.
they called it a home run, right? And then it was reviewed.
They called it a home run, and then
Yeah.
it was reviewed, and they said call confirmed. And the broadcast was like, what? What did they see? And I'm sitting there like, no, like, yeah, it definitely went over. It hit the cement, and then it hit a chair and came back in.
Yeah, I
But they
remember
were
seeing
for
the
like a
clip.
full inning talking about, oh, Button Rice got so lucky there. I was like, no, he hit a home run. What are we talking about? Anyway, the hole catchers are the least valuable because the catching position's been pretty bad. All right, so biggest surprise. I am gonna go first because he's already mentioned. Paul Goldschmidt, been a pleasant surprise. Last year he kind of did the same thing. He's done it a little longer this year, although he did have he had a pretty rough streak of an over 20 in the middle of this. But he did kind of the same thing last year when the first half he was really good. Second half he really fell off. But he's been really needed. If his bat's not in the lineup, especially when Judge goes out, this team is completely in a different spot. 7 games might have been a much longer losing streak because when he was hitting the ball over the wall, driving runs in, some of the other guys, including Ben Rice, were not. So pleasant surprise, Paul Goldschmidt, the out of nowhere award.
Yeah, because I think coming into the season, I was like, that's more of a mentor Rice type of thing. Maybe he'll go up against lefties, give him a break here and there. That's what I thought his role was going to be. But then as soon as, Judge and Stan went out, and it was a perfect time for him to play more first base or DH and have Rice DH as well, that he's gotten a lot more playing time and he's been great. Yeah, he's been a key cog in this first half. And I think that he's been crucial for that whole team to win.
And your biggest surprise?
Yeah, Brett Hedrick, reliever. I think coming into this year, I think not even just him, but the whole bullpen had a lot of question marks, and he was one of them. Like not really knowing kind of who he was or what he was about, and he's been a stud. Like I think I've talked to him previously about how many games he's played, but he's been just such a key piece for that bullpen and fitting so many different roles. Like I think when you look at WAR, I think he's been the second best pitcher on our team, obviously behind Cam Schiller. But his numbers have been great. He's been great in every position. Been a huge surprise from that bullpen compared to like the classic names that you saw in the back of the bullpen.
Yeah, he has 47 games this year, 1.55 ERA, 1.8 WAR, which is light years ahead of anything he's ever had or combined had. Before this, he's done 17 games, 1 game in 14 games. So it's not his rookie year, but it kind of feels like it might be it kind of feels like a rookie year, because he's had such a low amount of games played in his entire career. He's always been a good strikeout to walk guy, it looks like. His first year, in his third year when he played the most games, 30-7, 30-10. Now he's 53-17. But yeah, he's having an unbelievable year, and it's something they've needed because the guys that were supposed to be good in that bullpen have been really bad in that bullpen.
And one of the players I think is mine for the next award.
Delete the tweet
player.
award. I'm going to say the
Yeah.
award because I like the name of it.
Yeah, the delete the tweet award for me, I think was definitely Doval. Like I thought him and Bednar were your like 8th, 9th guys. You
Shut
set
it down.
that, you're good. But God, he's been, I think, our worst pitcher. Like
he's been
even
awful.
like in any position, I think his numbers are actually like not as bad as they could be because they just yank him, and then someone comes in and saves outing. Because I think the only times he'll come in and like walk somebody, give up a hit, and leave guys on base, and someone else has to come in and save them. But like, he's been so bad, so much worse than I thought he was going to be. Like even coming off of last year, I'm like, there's potential there. The Yankees, like what they do with their bullpen, he's a great addition there. Well, they'll tinker with him and make him good. He's been hard to watch, man. He's been so bad.
Yeah, I mean, coming from San Francisco, he was their closer. He was an all-star closer in San Francisco, so like, seemed like a hit last year for the Yankees. Had a pretty high ERA last year too, honestly. I didn't realize how kind of bad he was last year for the Yankees. 5 ERA, a negative .3 WAR in 18 innings. Which is funny because like I had the same thought you did. I was like, oh, I thought he was gonna be great. I remember him just being really good, but he really only had one good year where he was an all-star. But he was the closer for the Giants coming over. He has a negative .8 WAR, a 4.58 ERA. So he is not cooking at all. It's not the home run ball that's really hitting him. Not really the walks that are hitting him. Just people getting hits off him. 36 hits. How many innings he's got? 36 hits and 35 innings. So more than a hit per inning he's giving up.
He's always has
rough.
traffic. Always has traffic.
Yeah. I thought the same thing. I thought he was going to be really good. The other person to delete the tweet was Jazz Chisholm. In multiple ways. Sometimes delete the tweet because we're saying, wow, he stinks, and then he hits 3 home runs, and then you're like, wow, he can't throw a ball to first, and then he makes an awesome play. He came in with a lot of hype. He came in saying he was going to have, 50-50 or something like that. And he has just not been what they need. When they were in that stretch, 7-game losing streak, like he was the guy in the locker room, we need to be better, blah, blah, blah. But he wasn't the guy getting the hit. He wasn't the guy lifting a team. Like Judge will say we need to be better and then go out and hit a home run and really bring the team back. He just wasn't doing that. And being that he is one of the biggest guys on the team, he needs to be that guy. So, quick, I'll go through his stats too. 219 batting average, 13 home runs, 105 strikeouts, and he has played in 90 games, 0.7 WAR, 0.7. That puts him at 8th on the team.
Yeah.
But you want to know who has a higher WAR than him?
Volpe.
Anthony Volpe has a higher WAR than Jazz Chisholm, but he does have a higher
have the stolen
WAR.
bases, right? Too. He does have some stolen bases.
26 stolen bases, caught 5 times. So
yeah,
he is stealing bases, but he is not overall doing too well. And then Hedrick, by the way, is second in WAR for pitchers, and he is 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 5th in WAR on the team.
Yeah, but I thought Jazz coming into the year was like gonna have one of those years that solidifies him as like the best second baseman in the league, like the number 2 on the Yankees to Judge. Like I thought he was like, because he just looked like the kind of player that would look at a contract year and not be faced by it and be like, I'm gonna go play my game. I'm a rake. I'm gonna play ball, and I'm gonna get paid. But it's been like he's trying too hard at the plate. It follows him into the defense sometimes. Yes, he has the stolen bases, but it's like sometimes it's not what you really need from him at certain situations. Like just put the ball in play, use your athleticism, let the other guys on base make plays, like that sort of thing. That he's been disappointing so far this season. I think he'll turn it around, especially once Judge is back. But he's been one that's just like I thought he was going to be one of those players to look out for in the league, and he just hasn't been that.
So with him having such a down contract year, do you think he just takes what the Yankees are going to offer? Do you still think he bets on himself and goes
I
out
don't
to
think the
free
Yankees
agency?
offer him. I think they let him walk.
And who do they put at second? Get somebody else for second base?
Volpe.
Put Volpe
Or
at second?
Or Cabby.
And then who do they put at shortstop? The other one?
Yeah.
Whoever they get at the trade deadline?
I think it's going to be Cabby and Volpe as your second base shortstop.
That's
scary.
That's not an idea I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. That sounds terrible. That sounds awful. I mean, they're both terrible at shortstop right now. Why would we want them? Why would we want them both on the field at the same time? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think Jazz makes too much noise for the Yankees' liking.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's gonna get a big contract from a small market team, and but that's what I mean. Like if they offer him, because they'll probably offer him something, but it'll just not be what he would be expecting. Does he just take it to stay in New York? And at the end of the day, like what is $15 million with the Pirates rather than $8 million or $10 million with the Yankees? You know, like in New York, where you're going to make more money in other ways than you will anywhere else.
I think if you're a star player, I think that makes sense. I think if you're
He's a marketed player, though. He's in a lot of ads. He's in a lot of commercials. He's in a lot of things for Major League Baseball. He definitely makes his money in that way.
Yeah, but I think if some team is going to go stupid and offer him a lot of money, I think if it's close, sure, I think you lean Yankees. But if a team offers him a stupid amount of money per year and the Yankees just aren't going there, I don't think he's going to be like, well, I want to be a Yankee, so let me take a lot of millions pay cut. I don't think he'll do that. But if it's close, I can see it. Like if it's the difference between $1 or $2 million a year, I can see it.
So we talked about
I don't know if the Yankees even do that.
We talked about the delete the tweet. Now we get the receipt keeper. Another one I like the name of the award. The players we were most right about. We'll start with Ben Rice for both of us because one of us was very high on Ben Rice. We don't know which one it was. And we both were high. Let me rephrase that. We were both high on Ben Rice, but one of them was one of us was saying he's going to have like an MVP type season.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good program. We should listen to it sometime, and then we would know who said it. But one of us said that, so that's I'll go with that. If you want to go with our second player,
yeah, Bellinger, because I think when we were even going into the offseason or talking about the offseason and what they signed him for and how much he was getting, I don't think we even really blinked at how much he was getting paid. We were like, cool, keep Bellinger. Right now, he's your probably going into the season, your second or third best player. He's so good defensively, plays every outfield position, plays first base, is so consistent at bat. He's forgotten all about the past injuries now that you can expect this to be him for the next couple of years at least. That I think from the beginning, we were like, cool, Bellinger, lock him in, not a concern at any sort of way. Let's just keep it going. I think that was an easy decision. And I'm pumped that he's having such a good year to the point where we don't even talk about him.
He's very underratedly having a good year because he's kind of doing his thing. He's just kind of doing his thing, which is amazing. I feel good for him too because he was such a likable player with the Dodgers, and then he just kind of fell off a cliff, and now he's kind of made his way back. Cy Young for the Yankees, we don't have to talk about too much, is Cam Schlittler. Yeah, he might be Cy Young of the league.
He's
we
so
don't
good.
have to talk about it because he's just been unbelievable. Every start that he goes out is a great start. We don't need to talk too much about it, but I do want to talk about the next one, even though we already talked about the player, because I like the category name that I made up, Cy Dung, which is the worst pitcher on the team. We don't need to talk too much about it, but you can go ahead and say who's the Cy Dung of the first.
Yeah, it's Doval, and I don't think it's close. The only ones that I would even. It's hard to even talk about the starting pitchers at all because I think injuries have messed up Cole, Fried, and Rodon in talking about them with any sort of definitive way. And I think Weathers and Warren have been inconsistent, I guess is the best way to describe them.
Will Warren could probably be close on this list.
I agree. I think out of the two, he's the only other. I think Will Warren is the one out of him and Weathers that I would put on here. And I don't think any of the other relievers stand out to me as much. Maybe Jake Bird, but like other than that, I think Doval is just so far and away the worst pitcher on our team. But I think Warren right now has been so inconsistent, especially of late, that I think he's, in terms of the starters, he's kind of there.
So this isn't necessarily like the guy with the worst ERA or the worst WAR, although WAR will definitely come into play in this one. It's just the guy you trust the least out there is Doval, or I hear some other names that I have written down. I have Will Warren, Jake Bird, Tim Hill. Tim Hill's been pretty bad as well, and I said Jake Bird. And you said Jake Bird and Jake Bird. Those were the ones I had written down. And Tim Hill, I kind of put towards the bottom of that because he's kind of been the quote-unquote lefty specialist, it seems like. But there is no such thing as lefty specialist anymore because you have to face at least 3 batters. But he comes in when, like, the big-time lefties come in. But he's been pretty rough as well. You can also throw in there Luis Gil if you want, because he's the only other player that's seen significant time with a negative WAR on the team.
Honestly, I forget sometimes that he's on the team. I forget.
Well, my biggest take, and I don't remember if it was the lost episode or an actual episode, was he should have been traded the year he won Rookie of the Year.
I think it was an actual episode. So I think
that was just a such a no-brainer. It was such a no-brainer to trade Luis Gil after he won Rookie of the Year or during that season.
He's a 0. Is he pitching?
No,
I think he was hurt.
7-day IL, which has been way more than 7 days, but he is on the 7-day IL.
Yeah.
Okay. So we went through all of our awards. We're going to do, we got one more. This isn't an award. It's just the move the Yankees have to make. This could be a trade. It could be a call-up. It could be a demotion. It could be a lineup change. It could be a role change. It's just a change that has to be made. Which one is your one change that has to be made?
I think getting a catcher. Getting a catcher that is productive. I think I was going to go the shortstop situation.
Yeah.
But I think you can live with that situation if your catcher is producing something.
I'll go with the shortstops because I think that has to be addressed as well. But the catcher is a right now thing. Like, it needs to be done right now. Yeah. The shortstop is also like, it's a future thing. Like, it has to be done. But like, if you're gonna get a shortstop, you're looking for someone that's gonna be there for a long time. Catcher, I feel like you can like get this guy, let this guy go, get this guy, let this guy go. Like, shortstop, you can't stopgap. Like, you really can't. And the Yankees are trying very hard, very, very hard to do that. All right, we're gonna do some second half predictors now. I'm gonna go out of order on the page, so if you're looking at the page, don't pay attention. Not the listener. I'm talking to my co-host here. Everybody, close your ears for 5 seconds. Don't go off the page. Let's go off the what I say. All right, because I have the first one I'm gonna say is how many trade deadline moves do the Yankees have to make to improve on the second half?
How many do they have to make?
Yes.
I think they have to
make. How many do they
make?
Sorry, how many do they make? Do you think they make? These are all predictors.
I think they make 2. I think they do end up getting a catcher and they get a reliever.
Okay. So you're thinking just those 2 stopgap spots. I think they make 3. I think they get someone to play shortstop as well. I truly do. I don't think they're going to continue doing this. I think it's getting to a point where people are getting pissed. I think I've seen a lot of rumors, and a lot of the rumors have said shortstop. Not saying shortstop, like they've been shortstops that the Yankees are going to go after, but I think catcher and reliever is like a no doubter. I don't think
I think that's a guaranteed.
I think absolute layup. Biggest player acquired from the Yankees.
I have Ryan Jeffers. Again, catcher.
I saw a rumored report on multiple credible sites that the Yankees were talking for L.A. De La Cruz.
I wish. Oh my God, would I love that.
I have seen it's not like sportsjunkies.com or something like that. It's actual like Yahoo and like these legit places that would actually report stuff like this. They have called and they're talking about L.A. De La Cruz. And when I see stuff like this, that's what makes me think, oh, they're serious about looking at shortstops. Like they're done with this. Like They may not be saying it because, the Yankees are never going to be like, oh, my God, like, we need a new – they're always like, oh, my God, like, he's fine. Like, we'll get by. He's getting better every day, blah, blah, blah. But behind the scenes, I think they know there's three positions that are going to – if they really want to win a World Series – there's they fell off big time. There's three positions that they really need to look at. Okay. Name one Yankee that's going to get significantly better in the second half?
Significantly better, Grisham. I think he's coming back off injury. I think Judge coming back. I think things kind of get back to normal there in the lineup. I think he'll get a lot more protection with Judge there as well. That I think he'll start to click on and not necessarily be the same Grisham as he was last year, but I think you'll see his numbers kind of tick up.
You ready for a left turn?
Yeah.
Ryan McMahon. I think he is gonna when players start coming back and the Yankees make some moves for maybe a catcher and a shortstop, he's gonna have less pressure around him because he's gonna have less, and he's gonna start making some contact. He's had a couple games now in a row towards the end where he's been making good contact.
I think he's kind of
he's turning a corner, and I think he's gonna have a really good. He's not gonna hit 50 home runs or anything like that, but I think he's gonna finish 250, 26 home runs, 88 RBIs. He'll be a Gold Glove candidate. Like, he's going to finish with a really good year, and we're going to look back on it and be like, oh, yeah, Ryan McMahon, 2026, like, pretty good year. Like, one of those things.
Yeah, I think he's already started to turn it around a little bit with his bat, which I think is what you need from him so that you can play him more.
The defense has been fine. Like, he's made a couple of boneheads, but the defense
I think he's really turned around. And I think what you said is a good point, where it's like, the pressure is kind of off of him because they started platooning him, and the other guys around have been like, your catcher position has been so bad, your shortstop position has been like center of attention all year, for better and for worse, that I think McMahon was like the third or fourth story on this team, that now like pressure is kind of dwindled a little bit and you can just kind of play ball. And I think the bat's kind of turned around, the defense is starting to become more consistent, that I think they'll start to give him more playing time. And I wouldn't be surprised, if you come to the end of the season going into playoffs and you're like, wow, McMahon has had a solid year at third base for us.
Yeah, that's going to be my big predictor there. One Yankee who gets significantly worse during the season. Yeah, unfortunately, I think the same thing.
I think you already kind of see it. You kind of see it happening now. And I think that what I think is that what's going to happen is that, again, the Judge coming back, I think his playing time is going to dwindle. And I think he's going to still be a pro about it. But I just don't see how he can keep it up all year.
See, this is a tough one because there's not many choices you can make because everyone's already been
bad. Yeah.
But I would say Goldie for two reasons. One, same thing you're saying, guys are going to start coming back. Playing time's going to become more scarce. But also, this happened last year where in the first half he was really, really good. And then the second half he was like not even on the playoff roster because he was so bad. So it wouldn't be surprising if the second half of the year he was just as bad. Speaking of the postseason roster, name one player who will not be on the postseason roster. I actually think it's going to be Paul Goldschmidt because I think he's going to have a rough second half of the year. There's not really going to be a spot for him. And they're going to move on without him when Rice is going to be cooking.
Yeah.
Judge will be back. Stanton will be back. They're going to go acquire a catcher and a shortstop, so they're going to be fine. There's not going to really be any need for Goldschmidt because other than being a pinch hitter, like in the eighth inning, like he's not going to come in on defense. Like you don't want to take Ben Rice out of the game.
Yeah.
So where are you really going to put him?
The thing is they have done it. They have lived and died with their platoon lineup sometimes in the playoffs. And it's been them in the butt.
They have, but when they go get this shortstop and catcher, they're not going to need to do that. That's the thing. So
when they get Ellie De La Cruz and
they got Ellie De La Cruz,
who's the guy from the
Ryan
Rockies?
Jeffers.
I forget his name.
Hunter Goodman.
Hunter Goodman. When they get Hunter Goodman and Ellie De La Cruz,
Brandon Doyle and Hunter Goodman in the same trade, they're gonna be great.
And they get Tarek Skubal for a bag of peanuts. And
There we go.
You're not going to be worried about goalie.
Then they're cooking. To be real with you, the Yankees trade deadline is going to be pretty good. They're going to go get Hunter Goodman to fill in a catcher because he's pretty good. Then they're going to go get Skubal because they want starting pitching depth so they need to go get Scooble. And then to help a shortstop, they're going to go get Bobby Witt Jr. Obviously, the Royals are struggling. They want to get off that contract. He's going to be there. I think the last time we said Witt's going to the Yankees, it was like a joke, and people hated it as a clip. They were so pissed that we said that Bobby Witt's going to the Yankees. I think I named it, like, it was the name of the episode, too. It was like a one-off thing.
Bobby
it was
Witt
like
to
a
the
hot
Yankees.
take one-off. Yeah, it was him going to the Yankees. And people hated it. People love us.
That's
Anyway,
gonna be this one. It's gonna be Bobby Witt to the Yankees part 2.
Part 2. It was not even 30 seconds worth of a thing. Who do you got? Who's not going to be on the postseason roster?
I had Jason Dominguez. I don't think they go in with a 4th outfielder. I think they depend because they've been playing Rosario. They've been playing Caballero in the outfield. That I think that they will just go with Belly, Grisham, Judge, Stanton at DH when he's back. That will be your outfield. And then they'll have pinch runners for Stanton when they need to. They won't do anything without.
And if they
I think
need-
Jason Dominguez will be their 4th for the rest of the season, their 4th outfielder during the season. But I don't think they bring him in the postseason.
And if they need an outfield emergency, you could put one of those other 2 guys out there, and they can hold their ground pretty well. So it's not a big deal there.
Yeah,
one
Dominguez
prospect,
isn't a plus in bat or defense. So.
No, there's no reason to have him. One prospect. Now you got me saying plus. One prospect who makes an impact. You put none.
None. Yeah,
so
none.
The only one I said was Elmer Rodriguez, if he can come up and be decent. But other than that, what prospect's going to come up and save the day? There really is.
Yeah,
this is the first season I could think of where there's really not one, though.
None. Because, I mean, even the ones that we've seen already, like Spencer Jones, like, I guess.
That's the reason, though.
Like,
that's the reason there's none, because we've seen them already.
Yeah.
But they haven't done anything.
I think if you look at the team fully healthy, I think if you're depending on Spencer Jones to come up and have an impact for your team, I think you're lost anyway. So my only thought of someone that could come up and have an impact would be a pitcher. And I don't think you're going to see a starter. And I think your one bullpen option was LeGrand, and he got hurt.
Yeah.
And they don't know if he's going to be back this year at all, let alone for the MLB roster.
Yeah.
So that's my only thing is that I don't think a position player is going to come up and like be a rock star that leads you to a World Series. And I don't think they have a pitcher that they'll want to come up and pitch meaningful innings. So I was like, none came to my mind immediately.
Yeah, this is the first year they don't have it because there is no hyped prospect that hasn't seen the majors yet. Like all the hyped prospects have seen the majors. Who's your second half MVP for the Yankees?
Bellinger. I think his defense kind of carries that. Like, I think Ben Rice is the obvious one, obvious because of his home runs. But I think what Bellinger's done defensively for the team and being able to play left and center and first base on occasion and been so consistent with the bat that I think he's helped kind of stabilize that team when they needed it.
I was going to go with the second most obvious in Judge. I'm going to go with Stanton. I think Stanton's going to come back and really put things together. It's funny because we talk about Stanton with the Yankees and all this other stuff, and he hasn't really, other than injuries, he's actually been pretty good. Playoffs, he's always been good. Down the stretch, he's always been good. I think he's going to be the second half MVP, not the full season MVP, but the second half MVP. Who do you have as the second half Cy Young?
Bednar. I think he was really good. I think he's been really good. He obviously was really good in this national series, getting the 2 saves, 3 innings, 2 saves. This last one going into the break, I think he's pitched a lot more consistent. I think the beginning of the year, coming off of the WBC, he was a little shaky, but he's really kind of grown into the season. And I think they're going to keep leaning on him in the second half. Obviously, he's your closer. That I think he's going to be like super important for what is an inconsistent bullpen, but also as they go for a division race, I think he's going to be crucial.
Yeah, he's been one of the best pitchers on the entire team. You know, we didn't mention, I think it's fair to mention Fernando Cruz and Paul Blackburn as well, by the way.
Yes.
Because they've had really good first halves of the season.
Yeah.
I don't think either of those will be the Cy Young, but going off, he has a 2.70 ERA with 18 saves, and he's looked a lot better in the second half of the year. I'll just go with, I don't want to go with the easy answer with Schlittler either, although he's probably going to continue to be just as good. They might shut him down for a little bit. I think Max Fried's going to come back and be really, really good.
I'm pumped for him to come back.
I think he's been shut down a little longer to give him more rest. I think he's going to come back and be really, really good, and I'm excited to see how good he's going to be for sure.
Yeah, and I think they'll get to. I'm curious how they manage their starters and a division race as they get ready for playoffs.
You know what? It might be good. Maybe this is a hot take, but it might be good for down the stretch, every game to feel like a playoff game. When that happens, that team usually makes quite the run. It happened with the Braves, happened with the Rockies back in 2007 or whatever it was. Usually when in Nationals, whenever you see a team that's hot at the end of the year because they were treating every game like a playoff game, they usually make quite a run to it. And until recently, the teams that kind of cruised, the Dodgers for years would cruise to the NL title and then wouldn't even make it to the World Series, wouldn't make it to the NLCS. So there was that whole the wild card series, the one seed gets a bye and then they lose in the first round, but that's been kind of defunct at this point. But I think treating every game like a playoff game might be worth it. So with that being said, playoffs being said, how many wins do you think the Yankees finish with, and do they win the AL East? I'm going to leave this one just to you.
I'm finishing with 94 wins.
94 wins.
Yeah, I added 2 more than what I
originally wrote down. Yeah,
I'm gonna go 94 wins, and I do think they end up winning the division.
Do they reach the World Series?
Yes. I think their pitching carries them to a World Series.
Do they win the World Series?
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you
Sorry,
that the Yankees?
I am not confident at all.
We couldn't even get through it.
I knew the questions were coming, and I'm just like, I obviously think the Yankees are the best team ever. I think they're going to win the World Series, and they're going to make all the right decisions to do so. I just have no faith that that's actually going to happen.
That's hilarious.
So, I really just want this team healthy going into the playoffs.
Yes,
and then
same. I want them to be healthy going into the playoffs. I want them to be, hot going into the playoffs. They're usually not on fire going into the playoffs, and I think they also could make the World Series. And if everybody comes back and plays the way they are, they definitely can win the World Series. But we got to see it first.
Yeah, and I want them to know their lineup, know your team. Have everyone healthy, know your team, and just don't do the funny business, man. Don't do the funny business.
Good luck for that one. Anyway, thank you all for being here at the Crosstown 9. Be sure to follow us at Crosstown 9 on all social media platforms. Also, join the Discord. Our episodes get uploaded there automatically. Clips are uploaded there automatically. So you can go ahead and check that out. If you don't miss anything, you can join Discord. You can also join the conversation if you want to ask us questions or anything like that on the Discord, which is in the description of the podcast right now. So go ahead and find that. Or if you find us on social media, it's in the bios of all the social media. So you can join the Discord there. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio, whatever else. Go subscribe everywhere you get it. Go subscribe to all of them. That'd be great. We would love that. And make sure you're back next week. We'll go over the All-Star break. We'll go over Ben Rice's home run derby championship that he just won. I don't know if that's true. We'll go over his performance. Bellinger looks like he's also going to play. I was going through while you were talking, looking. Looks like Bellinger will play. Looks like Rice will play. Schlittler's out. And then Aaron Judge, also an All-Star, even though he's injured. So they had 4 All-Stars this year. So we'll talk a little about the All-Star game and coming back into the second half of the year. We'll talk about maybe some of the things we're looking forward to in the second half of the year. These were more first half awards. We'll go more into the second half. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Go Yankees. Enjoy the break. Please come back rested.